Jake Berger has really given this offense a jolt since coming off the injured list. Already a winning homestand, and today the White Sox go for the series sweep over division rival Kansas City on a gorgeous day here at the ballpark. Steve Stone and Len Casper. Jason on assignment. He'll be back with us in Cleveland tomorrow. Jake Berger's been so good here at home. He's moved around in the lineup. It really doesn't matter where he hits.
Well, he's in the 2 spot, and in the 2 spot, he probably gets another at bat, which was on the mind of Pedro when he put him there. But also, you have to ride the hot hand. Very few of the hands are hotter than Jake Berger. As we take a look at 19 games at guaranteed rate, 355, that's good. What's really impressive is 9 home runs, 21 driven in, the on-base percentage almost 400, slugging percentage at 887. Jake is doing everything right. He's doing it as a DH, occasionally plays some third base, but you need his bat in the lineup, and that was on the mind of his skipper when he made it out today.
Sox have only scored 7 runs in this series, but it's been enough because the pitching has been simply outstanding. We'll talk about the mound work by the Sox coming up next.
By Toyota. Visit your local Chicagoland Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Illinois Lottery. Illinois is full of winners. Play today. The next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
A couple big hits in this series for the White Sox, but the pitching has been so good. Really, the starters the last several times out, and this bullpen also stingy.
Well, you know, when the starters got better, it protects the bullpen. They got better simultaneously, and it's really nice to see everything gelling. We know they can hit. Lately, they're pitching. The starters the last 5 games, the ERA is under 2. As you can see, they're getting the ball over the plate, not walking too many people, striking out a lot of them. And the bullpen over the last 6 games, 12 innings total. They haven't given up any runs. 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. So the team is coming together. Couldn't happen at a better time. There's a softness in the schedule recently, but it gets really tough in June. The only thing the Sox are worried about is, will Lance Lynn whip up a gem like he did last time out? Lance got off to a slow start this year, but last time out he was really good. 7 innings, just 7 hits and 1 earned run. The key, again, not walking anybody. He was aggressive in the strike zone. He was throwing strikes with all of his pitches, and he was handcuffing those Guardians, who we will see starting tomorrow.
So Lance gets to start as they go for the sweep. It'll be a bullpen day for the Kansas City Royals. Carlos Hernandez will be the opener. Baseball coming up next.
Lance Lynn has the stuff dancing so far tonight. His 2nd strikeout.
Lance is keeping these guys off balance for sure.
Turn it up. It's all about the hits. Secret wars. I'm breaking your spirits. Exhale. My team is in the building. Feel the smoke. Rising to the ceiling.
Pass ball for Lynn. Ring it up, he says.
What a day for baseball as the Sox go for the series sweep. Season series tied at 3 apiece, and after this one we won't see the Royals again until September. And Lance Lynn will lead the White Sox onto the field, coming off that great outing his last time out.
Just a gorgeous day for baseball. The wind, which is a factor today, is blowing toward the right field corner once again as the temperatures start to heat up. And Lance Lynn is hoping to stay hot. The last couple times out, he's been awfully good. Hoping for more of the same. This is an aggressive swinging team in the Royals. I mean, they're not going to take a whole lot of pitches. And they're led by Salvi Perez, who doesn't take anything. There is their first-year skipper, Matt Quatraro.
And let's check out his batting order for today. Bobby Witt Jr. will be the DH. Sox pitching has done a nice job against him this season. Prado at first, batting second. Salvi had the big day yesterday. Melendez, Olivares, and Massey in the middle. Garcia, Bradley, and Duffy will round it out.
There's a good look at Lance Lynn, who's on for his 10th start of the year, looking for his 3rd win. His devilish ERA, a little bit higher than he would like, but it's been coming down lately. You look at 61 strikeouts and 51 in the third innings. That's really good. Coupled with 17 walks, that's just outstanding. So that's what he's going to use. He's going to use that four-seam fastball 44% of the time, backed up by the cutter and sinker. As you've noticed, they're all fastballs, but that's what he primarily is. He throws the curveball on occasion, the changeup's not so much. And he would like to have his mates get him on top early, and those are the key matchups. A home run for each of them. Witt, Prado, and Perez. As you can see, Nick Prado has hit him very well. Perez he's handled pretty well, and Bobby Witt, well, he's hit a couple of home runs. Let's check out the defense presented by UI Health. It's Andrew, Luis, and recently called up Clint Frazier in right field. Then it's Yohan, Romy, Hanser, and Gavin Sheets in the infield with Yasmani Grandal behind the plate, and we told you all about Lance Lynn. That's about as good as it gets. 76 degrees, humidity down at 37. The wind, by the way, it appears to be blowing more than 4 miles an hour, so I think it is a factor today, and postcard weather indeed.
So here is Bobby Witt Jr. Royals have scored 1 run so far in the series. The first inning brought to you by Toyota. And a fastball misses away to get us started. Armed Forces Day yesterday, the whole weekend. Teams wearing that military green with the caps. Shane Livensparger back of the plate.
So right-hand hitters beware. He's going to call some strikes in there, righty to righty.
Swing and a miss. That has been a vulnerable area for Royals batters in this series.
Bobby Witt no exception. He calls for his lone timeout.
Sox normally, of course, wear their 83 throwbacks on Sunday, but with the special weekend, they're going with the black jerseys. Got to look the part. 2-2 on Witt, and there's the normal Sunday look on the left. Lance had better ride on his four-seam fastball his last start. The previous outing in Kansas City kind of felt like his four-seamer was acting too much like his cutter. Wasn't enough difference. There's a curve, and Witt held, and it's a full count.
He appealed to Dan Bellino, first base umpire. We'll watch it from the side. He did not go. 30% of the time, he tells you he did go.
He struck him out. Witt now just 4 out of 25 against Sox pitching.
Good way to start it off, because it takes almost an automatic stolen base and sits him on the bench. So that fastball on the outer third, it's his four-seamer, and it was in a very good spot.
Here's Prado, the first baseman. Pasquantino getting the day off. Stoney, explain about the four-seamer cutting. You know, Dylan Cease, when he throws his four-seamer, he wants it to be straight, and when it cuts, that's not what he wants. But the idea is the four-seamer is supposed to be different from those other pitches, so sometimes too much movement is a bad thing.
Especially when you're thinking about keeping it straight. What happens, Len, is that the pitcher's fingers will get on the side of the ball. That causes the cutting action. If you keep your fingers, not necessarily your arm angle, on top of the ball, it will go straighter.
That's the cutter.
It's especially important for Lance. He doesn't want to see any of that little slice on his four-seam fastball. Just enough movement to get it off the sweet spot. He threw it below the hands of Prado, who's been very good against our Sox and very good against Lance Lynn.
So back-to-back Ks to start it.
Lance going upstairs with another four-seamer, and even though his arm angle is not over the top, his fingers were on top of the baseball. That will keep it true and allow Lance to throw it exactly where he wants to. With a lot of these Kansas City hitters, it's up and out of the strike zone.
Here's Salvador Perez, who experienced a first in his career yesterday. He got booed. And the reason was he has a little friendly thing with Elvis Andrus. And when he came around third, he was kind of smiling and making gestures toward the White Sox dugout. He said all in fun, but the crowd got on him a little bit.
Yeah, well, they don't know the inside baseball aspect of it, but Salvi is one of the good guys in the game. Has been a leader since he came up with these Royals. So I'm sure there was no evil intent.
Here's what we're talking about after he homered off Giolito.
Yeah, he was talking to Elvis, but he's not saying anything. Elvis is a real character of the game, by the way.
Yes, he is. Hopefully he'll be back soon. This is Romy Gonzalez at short today, and a 1-2-3 first for Lance Lynn. He had been giving up some first inning runs early this season. Always good to start fresh. Full Sox lineup with no Tim in the lineup. It is Benintendi leading off. Jake Berger slugging a Ruthian-like .719. Robert Moncada, Grandal, and the new guy, Clint Frazier, in the middle of the order. More on him as we move along. Sheets, Alberto, and Gonzalez go 7, 8, 9.
Let's check on Carlos Hernandez, who has started a lot of games in his time in the major leagues. You can see the ERA just over 4. He had a huge fastball, which has come down somewhat. But with only 8 walks and 28 strikeouts, that's very good. That's what he's going to use. He likes that 4-seamer over half the time, backs it up with a slider. The occasional splitter, which he uses as a wipeout pitch to either right or left-handers, a knuckle curveball, and very few, if any, sinkers.
Facing Benintendi, who's been in his hottest stretch.
Let's check out the defense presented by UI Health. It's Olivares, Bradley, and Melendez in the outfield left to right, with Duffy, Garcia, Massey, and Prado in the infield. Salvi Perez behind the plate, and Hernandez on the hill.
Royals have 5 starting pitchers on the IL. This is Hernandez's second appearance as an opener. 2 scoreless innings Wednesday in San Diego. And it's the 4th time they have used an opener, all in the last 29 games. When you combine the opener and the quote bulk guy, and that should be Max Castillo today, they've gotten a 2.81 earned run average. So it has worked pretty well so far. And Hernandez pitched for Venezuela in the WBC. Will try to get through this first and maybe even a batter or 2 or more in the second. Benintendi went, and that's a strikeout. Now today's live lines presented by PointsBet. Let's check out some Jake Berger odds to hit a homer, to pick up a hit, and to knock one in.
Well, if you like to get a value, you place $100. Jake hits a home run, you get $475 back. The way he's been swinging it, that's good.
102 on that fastball. Woo. .99 that time. We rarely bat an eye when a guy hits triple digits these days.
A couple years back, he did it 30 times, putting him in the top 5 in major leagues as far as triple digit fastballs.
1 and 2 on Berger, who's in the 2 spot for the first time in his big league career. The White Sox possibly could be in this opening situation tomorrow. They just put Mike Clevenger on the injured list prior to the first pitch. He's got some inflammation in his right wrist. So we're not sure who will start tomorrow, but Pedro will deal with that when tomorrow hits in Cleveland. Trotter will not have a play.
The wind probably will bring the ball back down the left field line, but not on the right side. The right side, anything close to the stands is going in the stands.
Two on Berger. Luis Robert Jr. waits on deck. Talked to Pedro about facing a team that does have an opener and understanding that guys are probably not going to face Hernandez more than once if that affects the way he looks at the game. He said it's all about leverage today. Sometimes that leverage can be in the 5th or the 8th or the 9th or the 11th. They're just never quite sure.
I think one of the factors is when you start a starting pitcher, you start thinking about getting his pitch count up, because you know the sooner he leaves, the quicker you're going into the bullpen. Well, they're going into the bullpen quickly anyway, so his pitch count is pretty irrelevant.
Got him on a nice slider for strike 3.
After fastball, he throws a breaking ball in the absolute perfect spot. There comes a time normally when you just tip your cap to the pitcher and say, you beat me. Lifetime against our Sox, Hernandez has been really good.
He has given up some base runners due to those walks. So far, 2 strikeouts, and now facing one of the hottest May hitters in the league, and he's ahead 0-2 on Robert.
Last year, Hernandez inexplicably lost that fastball for a while. Velocity just wasn't there, and he spent 12 games, 11 starts in Omaha in AAA. He was 0-5 last year with an ERA 7.39 for the Royals. It was not his year.
They give Robert just a little room out in left center. Bradley a few steps into right center, and Hernandez just struck out the side to start the game. 5 batters total, 6 batters, 5 strikeouts. Play them when the Sox saw the Royals early in May. They were off to a great start with the bats. Well, it's cooled off a lot here the last week and a half.
Tough to win many major league games when you're averaging under 3 runs a game. With a batting average of 186, that's been the problem with the Royals. They've had a power outage. Sox are hoping that continues for just one more game.
Only 1 ball in play in the first. Second inning brought to you by Menards as MJ Melendez swings and misses. We've got a game that's already final. The Yankees swept the Reds, a 4-1 decision today. Luis Severino back off the IL, got a no decision. Pitched well though. One. Good cutter.
That's been a really good pitch for Lance this afternoon. I know it's early, but you like to see the spin on that cutter, especially because to a hitter, he identifies it as a fastball. He goes out to get it where the sweet spot he thinks will be, and then the ball moves in on his hands, and whether it's a swing and a miss or a broken bat, pitcher will take either.
Melendez snapped a 16-game on base streak on Friday, 1 for 7 so far in the series. Kind of jammed him a bit, and it is the newcomer Frazier to make the catch. Your 2023 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. With Guaranteed Rate's same-day mortgage, you'll be ready to move into your dream home in as little as one business day. Ready to make your move? Visit rate.com to get started today. Here's Olivares, 0 for 4 this weekend. And a hard grounder will make it through for the first hit.
There is one of those cutters, and Olivares took it right back through the middle. So the no-hitter, the perfect game, is by the boards. Exit velocity almost 110 miles an hour.
Here's Michael Massey. Big weekend for him. He's back home, and I guess he got engaged last night. So congratulations to Michael.
Couldn't pick a better city to get engaged in, because then you have 100,000 places to go afterwards.
Real good time for Chicago area big leaguers. It's a good list.
Nicky Lopez will come back from appendicitis. Royals just don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be in not too distant future.
Two and one on Massey. We saw Jack Sawinski in Pittsburgh.
Right after we left, he started to really heat it up.
He's got 7 home runs. Healthy OPS at 842 for the Buccos.
And when we went there, I mean, he was swinging through everything. Even if he made contact, it wasn't strong contact, but then he found it. Whatever it was, he found it and hasn't stopped hitting yet.
Runner at first with 1 out. And Lynn will check on Olivares.
Looked like he was measuring Lance to see if he could get a jump. He already induced the 1 throw.
Double play combo today, Alberto and Gonzalez. Full count.
Lance gave a longer look to Shane Livensparger, thinking that one might have caught a piece.
Runner takes off, and a high fly deep right, and a 2-run homer for Massey.
Third home run of the year. He's now driven in 13. And apparently he hits for power as someone who's engaged. We'll take another look. Our 4th home run replay. That is that cutter. Unfortunately, it did not cut in on his hands. It stayed right in the middle of the plate, and Massey took it out. 2 of his
homers, yeah, all against his pitching staff.
I know it's 2 against Lance Lynn, and he only hits home runs against the Sox.
Over 400 in his short career against the Sox, team he grew up rooting for. So now Garcia.
We told you if the ball gets up in the wind, and that's exactly what happened. It was a towering fly ball. Maybe on another day it wouldn't go out, but today 405 feet and a Royal lead.
So 3-0 on Garcia. 3 runs in the series for Kansas City on a couple of home runs. Perez yesterday, Massey today, and Garcia draws the walk. And Ethan Katz will make a mound visit before Jackie Bradley Jr. hits. But you're right, get the ball up in the air today, because to right boy, it's going to fly.
Yeah, it's going to knock it down to left and probably left center. But anything well right of center and straightaway right or down the line is going to exit quickly. Big meeting at the mound. Everybody there except for the 3 outfielders. They decided to stay out.
Well, we have a second. The Twins won last night, so the Sox remain 7.5 out in the division. They've got to face Shohei Ohtani later today in Anaheim. Pablo Lopez scheduled to work for the Twins.
That's a really good matchup.
They just put Polanco on the IL, and Byron Buxton had to leave the game last night with some knee tightness, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Well, that was the reason why they're using him primarily as a designated hitter, because they wanted the 500+ at bats out of him. They couldn't get it as an everyday center fielder, even though he's one of the best center fielders in all of baseball. But getting Michael A. Taylor, got him from Kansas City, that was a good deal. Gave him insurance for Buxton. You see the wind +4 feet. If you hit it to straightaway right field, -3 feet if you hit it to left.
Line shot, and it's caught. Frazier playing fairly deep, and he didn't have to move a lot to catch that screamer off the bat of Bradley, and he can't get a break. He is now 0 for his last 23.
He had one big game against the Sox in Kansas City. He had 3 hits. He played a great center field. His contributions in that 3 of 4 Kansas City win was defensively. He caught everything in sight. Even when he turned in a bad direction, he redirected and caught everything.
Now the veteran utility man Matt Duffy is at third base. '24th game for Matt, hitting .328. Spent last year with the Angels. Garcia with a big lead. He's not running though. Foul tip.
Duffy had a big hit in Kansas City. That little slicer he took into right field opened up the final, what turned out to be the final inning of the ball game, and then a Freddie Fermin bunt ended it before it got to extras.
Duffy came up with the Giants and finished second in the NL Rookie of the Year balloting in 15 behind Chris Bryant. Down the right field line, and it will slice foul.
That's normally where Duffy's going to hit him. He's going to take it to right or right center field. He'll occasionally pull a soft breaking ball, but for the most part, he's looking in the gap to the right field line. Lance had a very easy first inning. This one not near as easy.
He's got the jump on Duffy. 0-2. And Robert over into right center. 2-run homer, Michael Massey, and the Royals have the early lead.
And breaking news all offseason. Get your daily recap of the NFL weeknights at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago. And now they are meeting at the mound.
Oh no, there might be a malfunction with one of the clocks.
It looked like, well, it has to be the one that Hernandez is facing.
And they are all off, but should reset here in a second. So Moncada leads off. He's had a good week. Now, he had the game-winning hit yesterday. Certainly the Berger bases clearing double late kind of became the signature hit of the game, but Moncada's 2-run single in the first gave the Sox the lead, and they never relinquished it.
Well, now the pitch clocks are back. I would have suggested an easier fix. Put pitchers on the honor system.
Right. Bradley now has to come in and make the catch. The ball was kind of out toward the end of the bat. So the honor system, huh? That's always worked in baseball.
Well, look, I think it would be terrific because then the pitcher could call never too much time on him, but you could start off every hitter with strike one, telling him it's a violation.
Now Yaz with 1 out. Let's see if this one's playable. It is, and it's exactly what you mentioned. That wind kept it in the field of play.
Follow our Sox Insiders at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because
Nationwide is on your side.
Wah.
Here's Clint Frazier, who was bludgeoning AAA pitching with Charlotte to the tune of 7 home runs in 16 games. He's 28 years old, former Yankee and Cub.
Also the Guardians, I believe.
Yeah, drafted by Cleveland.
Yep, that's where he came up.
Got traded in that big Andrew Miller deal.
5th pick, 1st round, 5th pick overall. So the tools are most likely still there.
He was with Texas this spring training, played 15 games there at AAA, got released and then signed with the White Sox on April 28th. Battled injuries and a numbers crunch in the outfield for a few years with the Yankees. He grew up playing ball with and against Austin Meadows in Georgia, and they were both drafted in 2013. 1st round picks. Garcia with a spinning play and a perfect throw. Wow. What a play by Michael Garcia, filling in for Bobby Witt Jr. You can't do it much better than that. 2-0 KC after 2. Is brought to you by Hyundai. Lance Lynn will go through this batting order for the 2nd time, and there is a right-hander up in the Royals bullpen.
Yeah, that's just for Hernandez. Max, he was going to go 2. If he had some trouble in the 1st inning, he would go 1, but he had no trouble at all. 3 strikeouts, 1, 2, 3.
Witt struck out to open the game. His dad pitched in the major leagues for 16 seasons. Debuted with Texas in '86, finished up with Arizona 2001. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
This is called not picking up the spin. It looks like a fastball and then dives out of the zone. A very good pitch. Stayed a strike for a long time before it became unhittable.
Ball 1 to Prado. 0 for 3 on Friday with 3 strikeouts, but 2 hits and a walk yesterday. Nice crowd on a gorgeous day. It's been a fun homestand. Sox have won 5 of 8.
Oh, nice catch in the upper deck right there. Fan leaning over the rail, and turned out to be a good play after a bobble. But the souvenir is secured anyway. Very nice.
Opposite field base hit. I believe both of his hits yesterday were in that direction. Bring your family to a White Sox game with a family pack presented by ExxonMobil. Your family will get 1 ticket, hot dog, drink, and a bag of chips to select games, starting at just $19 per ticket. Plus, with every purchase, you have a chance to win mobile gasoline for a year. For tickets, visit whitesox.com/family. Ball 1 to Salvador Perez, who grounded out in the first inning.
Salvi made a decision this year to try to catch more games than he had been catching in previous years. And the reason is he realizes that his body is going to break down. He's had some physical problems already. He's had some back issues, leg issues, and catchers take a beating. So it's the rare catcher who's really good defensively and can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And Perez has been able to do that his entire career.
He is the 4th official captain in Royals history. Brett, White, Sweeney, and Perez. Right in on his hands. So that's what's left of the actives from the 2015 World Championship team. It goes fast. 8 years. It's a long time.
It really isn't, but in baseball life, yes,
Yeah.
it very much is a long time, because a lot of things happen. Injuries, releases, a lot of different things happen in 8 years.
And he strikes him out. 4 now for Lance.
That one just dove across the plate again. Salvi, you can see Salvi opening up, and that was the problem. As soon as you open up that front hip, you have no coverage middle out. He did that probably because he thought the cutter might have been coming inside, or he didn't pick it up right away. But opening up always costs you.
I think the other thing is Melendez takes ball 1 about a World Series championship team is that 5-6 years later, probably half the club's retired, because normally it takes a good mix, right?
Yep.
Young players, guys in their primes, and then the low to mid 30s to upper 30s veterans that you have to sprinkle throughout your roster.
And another factor, Len, is that you get successful with your guys, and eventually you get to the point, if you're not a major market, where you're not going to be able to afford them. So you move them out, as Kansas City did with almost that entire team.
One and 2 on MJ Melendez. Prado is at first. Royals had the lead on a Michael Massey homer 1 inning ago. Lance with 3 strikeouts in the inning, 5 overall. Time now for our Autos Today fan cam. .75 at game time. A bit of a cool breeze, feels good.
Just a spectacular day. They'd like to see the Sox get on the board here against Castillo as he comes on in relief of Hernandez, who was brilliant in 2 innings. So there's a look at Max Castillo, on for the 4th time, his ERA 2.89. You can see control hasn't been good. If you're patient, he will most likely walk you. He does, however, strike out a few folks. That's what he's going to do it with, that 4-seam fastball backed up by the slider. 42% almost 35%, and the changeup, he's got a decent one.
Gavin Sheets will make it out as Melendez retires him. So Sheets never got to face the starter. Here's Alberto. I think the goal here for Castillo is to go as far as he can. 4th appearance, 18th of his big league career. So when you do the opener, somebody's got to cover 3 or 4 innings. It's not spring training where you have 30 guys in your bullpen.
No, and that's what we saw all the time. That's why Ryan Yarborough picked up so many wins for Tampa when they used the opener. He would come in and then he'd throw 4 or 5 whatever innings and usually pick up a win.
Alberto had a really nice road trip. He's cooled off a bit since on this homestand. He's 3 for his last 25. And driven pretty well, but Melendez will run it down. Time for moments that never get old. Old National Bank get old on this date back in 1943. The Sox defeated the Senators 1-0 at Comiskey Park. Thurman Tucker 3 hits and the only RBI. Johnny Humphreys scored the run, pitched a complete game, 3-hitter and 1 hour 29 minutes.
Well, the commercials were a lot shorter back in those days. Television didn't arrive yet, but famed radio broadcasts of some of those early broadcasters were legendary.
Yeah. Fastball on the corner against Romy Gonzalez. He started at second Friday night. Knocked in a run with a sac fly. Well, we're seeing a few games now under 2 hours with the pitch timer. These well pitched 1-0 games. We've seen a few 151s, 155s.
We went over this yesterday, but for those who weren't with us, average time this year for a game is 2 hours and 37 minutes. Average time last year was 3:05. The year before 3:08. So things are going in a good direction.
Toward the middle, and Garcia kind of backed up, and that cost him. And Gonzalez has an infield hit.
I don't know if he could pick this one up on a short hop because he's playing straight away. He's got a long way to go. By the time he gets it across, it's not in time. We'll watch it again, and Romy is busting it down the line. He's sniffing a base hit. He keeps the inning alive by flat out hustle.
So here's Benintendi, and Romy takes off. Got a good jump, pitches a strike, throw is pretty good, but Romy got in head first.
Well, that has to come from the scouting report, not against Perez, but against Castillo, because Romy got a very good jump. We'll watch it here. I mean, he's off to the races before Castillo delivered the ball. Quick tag on him by Garcia. Witt is the DH today, and ooh boy.
They did not challenge it, and that's the kind of play where if Romy had disengaged but was over the bag. I've talked to a lot of baseball people who think that should not necessarily be an out. I mean, if you beat the throw, now if you go past it, that's one thing. But if the jersey comes off the top of the bag by a half an inch, I don't know if the spirit of that replay rule is to be that officious, but
well, the rules are going to be revised, change in some instances, and stay the same in a lot more of those instances.
3-1 on Benintendi. See if they can rally here with 2 outs. Infield hit, stolen base. The 3-1 to Benintendi is rolled toward right, but Massey's got it. And that will do it. 2-0 Royals after 3. Shift restrictions is that second basemen are playing an average of 10 feet closer to home plate, because last year you could play in the grass. Look at Massey. He has to start in the dirt, but he actually fields the ground ball with 2 feet in the grass. I've talked to Eddie Rodriguez. Some of those angles for second basemen are changing. Instead of coming in on everything from the grass, some guys are actually going back to play those ground balls.
Well, one of the big mistakes that a lot of infielders, and mostly second basemen, but occasional shortstops also, is taking ground balls and getting some that bounce from the dirt to the grass. You see ground balls hit in infield practice, and Kansas City, by the way, takes infield practice every day. And you see some of the balls the guys just field on the dirt. Well, there's going to be times like the last ground ball where it transitions from the dirt to the grass. It's a different bounce.
And with the exit velocity, those balls get through the infield a lot faster. 4th inning brought to you by the Village of Bedford Park. So if you imagine the old shift against a guy like Grandal, you'd see a second baseman 25 feet out into the grass, and their movement was all in toward home plate. Can't do that now. Just shattered his bat, and Moncada will get Olivares. Let's do some Sox math on this Sunday, May 21st. Take Bill Melton's jersey number with the Sox, add Dick Allen's jersey number with the White Sox, and that's your answer. And I will fess up, I am terrible with uniform number history, although I did know when I saw Clint Frazier's number 15 that Iguchi and Beckham had previously worn 15. So I don't know why that information stuck in my brain.
Well, you also really like uniforms.
I do, yes. I do. Massey with a home run his first time up. And those big numbers against White Sox pitching. Off the top of your head, do you remember how many different Major League uniform numbers you wore in your career?
Off the top of my head, no, but 32 was the
standard.
Yeah, the overwhelming one that I used the most. I had a couple of others. I was sent down to the minor leagues with San Francisco, and so coming back I got a different number. Never had the name of Gucci on the back of mine.
I can give you the answer. You wore, I believe, 6 different uniform numbers: 32, 33.
That was the original one with the Giants.
35.
Yeah.
29. 21.
29 was the original with the Orioles.
Okay. Massey grounds out. Time now for a message from Powering Chicago.
Who powers Chicago? We do. Powering Chicago's members consistently help create better construction, better careers, and better communities. Powering Chicago. IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
There's Garcia, who walked in the second.
He also had a superlative play up the middle. He is a lifetime shortstop who tries to make the transition to third base. It's not the easiest transition because the game is so much faster as a third baseman than it is as a shortstop.
Guardians are in New York against the Mets. It's a split doubleheader after a rainout yesterday.
Scherzer in the first game.
1-0 Mets in the 6th. Scherzer has allowed just 2 hits. Moncada will scoop. So Lance gave up that homer in the second, but other than that, he's been very sharp. Number 15, the great Dick Allen. We've got a repeat winner, I believe. Don't get me going on Dick Allen's Hall of Fame credentials. Because he should be in and should have been in a long time ago.
Well, he will get in. And I think it got a good chance of being on the next vote. Having been his teammate, he was a really misunderstood guy.
Yeah, his numbers are just eye-popping. 15 years. Berger pops it up. Prado drifting.
At that time, the wind did get him an extra swing or two.
Get to the ballpark Tuesday, May 30th for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Night. Celebrate with friends and family. The Sox take on the Angels at 7:10 p.m. The first 10,000 fans receive a White Sox and AAPI themed t-shirt designed by Brian Novato. Purchase tickets at whitesox.com/AAPI. Ooh. Boy, I don't know if Jake had a good read on that pitch as he ducked out of the way at the last possible second. That's scary.
Well, the good thing about it is he did get a read. Unfortunately, it's well over his head. So Selby wants it outside. Castillo doesn't even get it close to the target.
Sharply hit to Garcia. Now Luis Robert Jr., who struck out against the starter Hernandez. Prado again into foul territory.
Almost in the exact same spot as Jake Berger's.
I think Carlos Hernandez went up to Matt Quatrero and said, "Skip, I got a no-hitter going. You can't take me out after 2."
You know what's kind of interesting is how Tampa Bay came up with the idea of a consistent opener. And when you think about it, it's actually, as we've moved along, it actually makes more sense to me.
Well, one idea is the third time through the lineup, right? That one driven. Let's see if the wind will keep driving it. Oh, and gone! He just got it over that yellow line into the patio. It's 2-1.
I don't think that one would have been out any other time, but right here this afternoon. It's warm, the ball is livelier, and the wind is howling out toward right and right center field. And Luis took advantage with his 13th home run. He's driven in 29, and he's cut the Kansas City lead in half.
You're right, though. Just not quite sure if he had enough. And he hit it in the right spot. And Moncada takes a fastball for a strike.
It's not only the third time through, Len, but it's facing the top of the order right away, where a relief pitcher is taught to do that.
Yep. Massey will get Moncada.
We'll take a look at the home run once again. He's explaining to Elvis how he did it. Our Ford home run replay. This is a tailing fastball, and the thing was, it tailed right back into Luis, who took it out. Boy, he seemed a lot more sure that that one was going than I was. It snuck over the wall.
The other factor is a combination of both with the opener. If the bulk guy faces a batter or two for the third time, theoretically it's the bottom of the order he faces 3 times, not the top. And in the case of today, Hernandez faced the top 6. So if Castillo gets a third crack at anybody, it'll be the bottom 3 in the White Sox order.
Yes, but most likely he would not get that third time through, which, when you look at the numbers, against most pitchers, maybe not the great ones, but they get everybody out anyway. But against most pitchers, that third time through, the batting average can jump as much as 75 points.
Yep.
And again, I was late to the opener party because when I first saw it, I went, well, and then you watch a few more, and then you realize that that guy that comes in, if he can get you 2, that's really valuable.
And look, I think the Rays were honest about it. They did it because they kind of had to. They weren't necessarily trying to reinvent anything. You would rather have a 7-inning starter, but in lieu of that, you have to be a little more creative.
Right. Look, if I can get Justin Verlander in his prime, Max Scherzer in his prime, you don't have to have anybody come in and start their ball games. But there's not many of those guys around. You know, there's usually in the league on a yearly basis, maybe what, 15 guys who would say, okay, I don't need an opener.
Yaz dealing with the hamstring tightness, and there are some of those numbers. Yeah, the offense just climbs. Olivares in left, and he's got it. Time now for some American Sale fun at home. 2-1 Kansas City. By Google Cloud as we see Lance Lynn and the swings and misses.
Most of those 4-seamers have been upstairs. That's what he's using to try to neutralize the left-handers. Left-handers this year have given Lance some problems to the tune of 385 coming into today.
Starts Bradley with a changeup for a strike. The 5th inning is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Bradley hit one right on the screws last time up, only to find Clint Frazier standing right there.
And Frazier laying about 12 feet in front of the warning track. Another good changeup.
That is a very deep right field.
But on a day like this, you pointed it out, Frazier understands the conditions here. Another ball clubbed. Dowdy's real happy, but he's 0 for 2 and he's hit it hard twice.
Catch every pitch with the fastest internet from Xfinity, with a reliable connection you can count on in the clutch even during peak hours. The next generation Xfinity 10G network.
Remember talking to Pedro about results versus process, and it applies to Jackie Bradley Jr. Pedro said Salvi always would tell me I'm not paid the line out to second. That's a great line. Little bloop, and Duffy with a base hit. So that's baseball, right? Bradley lines out, and that ball off the bat 69 miles an hour for a base hit.
Yeah, but it was wind aided. That's a fastball that catches a little too much of the plate. Duffy doesn't hit it real well, but couldn't have thrown it out there any better. No chance for Luis Robert, even though he was shaded in the right direction. He couldn't come get it as that ball just sunk in front of him.
When the shifting craze started, Joe Madden, when he was managing the Rays, was kind of at the forefront, and he openly said we shift to catch line drives. So the idea at that time was let's play where the hardest hit balls go. That's why bloops end up base hits a lot, because you're not playing for bloops defensively.
No, with the no shift, it's really helping the left-hand hitters, those dead pull hitting left-handers, helping them a lot more than the right-handers. Because if you were a slow running left-hander, that second baseman can be 75 to 80 feet in back of the infield and still get you.
Duffy had a pretty good secondary. There you go. Royals have hit into a lot of tough luck. in that when you hit the ball over 95 miles an hour, typically your batting average is sky high.
Second name on that list was the Cardinals. They got off to a really difficult start, and lately they've been really putting it together. Pitching is starting to come around. The offense, which looked like it was always going to be a huge plus for that team, finally is starting to put the hammer down and score a lot of runs.
Cardinals have won 10 of 13 going into their game against the Dodgers.
Dodgers added a couple of their very young and very talented pitching prospects. They have a loaded organization.
Cardinals leading 3-1 in the fourth. Frazier back and on the dirt, and he's got it. 97, sorry.
Telemundo fires up with Top Chef VIP. Watch celebrity contestants compete for the coveted title in television's most demanding kitchen. Top Chef VIP, weekdays at 6, only on Telemundo Chicago. There you go. Now we're talking. That is a substantial hot dog.
Yes. So the 2 outs in this inning, 105.7 off the bat. That last one 97. The hit 69 miles an hour.
When you see that, you wonder how anybody ever throws a no-hitter.
Right. Well, Michael Kopech nearly did, and the hit he gave up came on a broken bat.
That might have been in the 60s also, I believe. There's a look at Michael, certainly enjoying the sun and all that goes with a winning effort last time out.
Three and one.
Extend long birthday greetings to a friend of mine, Barry Seigel, turning 90 today. Been a long time Sox fan. Sits and lives and dies with every pitch.
Well, he's had a lot more fun the past couple weeks.
Yep, and I had to get that one in fairly early.
3-2 on Prado. Duffy will be moving here with 2 outs and a full count. So Perez will bat with 2 on after the walk to Prado. All of a sudden that pitch count, you look up, Lance in the mid 80s.
5 strikeouts. Ethan Katz looking over his selection about who's ready to go. They've already plotted out, depending on what inning it is, who's going to be the first pitcher out of the chute, who's going to come second, who they get to use to set up today, who might they use to close, hopefully.
Astros have won 6 in a row. They're scoreless against the A's in the 5th today. The cutter. Jose Altuve returning this weekend. He missed the first 43 games with that broken thumb.
Well, the one they really would like back because of balance in their lineup is Michael Brantley. Talking with Dusty a bit about that, he said, look, our 2 left-handers are really good, Alvarez and Tucker. He said if we can get just one more, And Brantley gives him that, and a good one.
Boy, he stayed off that outside, and he got him swinging. Royals strand a couple. Bottom 5, 2-1. All the runs coming on homers early. Perfect for family reunions, fundraisers, and more. Plus, it's the best way to save on single game prices. After all, White Sox games are better with a group. For more info, visit whitesox.com/groups or call or text 312-674-1000. If you missed it earlier, Clint Frazier brought up today, and in the lineup, making his White Sox debut. His contract was officially selected. Jake Marisnick designated for assignment, and then just before the first pitch, Mike Clevenger placed on the pitcher's IL, which is 15 days with right wrist inflammation. Frazier, known for his red curly hair. One spring with the Yankees became a bit of a distraction, so he had to cut it off. He was still within the team grooming rules, but when you're a Yankee, you've got curly red hair. I guess it becomes a story.
Well, that's when they went after Randy Johnson, and Randy was known for flowing hair. They said, "This is what we want to offer you, whatever the case may be. And by the way, you got to cut your hair. Don't be a Yankee."
Frazier with his first hit. He's 1 for 2. And these guys have great hair. What a segue. Chuck and Ozzie with a preview of Subaru postgame live. Thank you. Gavin Sheets with a man on takes a strike.
Well, he has an advantage because this is the second time he will be looking out at Castillo. He was the first batter he faced after Hernandez retired 6 straight in the first and the second.
Busy morning for Clint Frazier. Show up with your bags. You meet the manager, the staff, a few teammates, talk to the media, figure out what the signs are. One and two on Sheets. There's a base hit. Frazier will take a look at Eddie Rodriguez. He picked him up very quickly, and Eddie said, "Nope, stay right where you are."
Melendez has a very good arm in right field. He split his time last year between catching and playing the outfield. So there's another one of those cutter slider hybrid that doesn't do much, and the second time is the charm for Gavin. He punches it through the right side.
Royals corner infielders are in against Alberto. He squares, and it'll get back near the screen.
You just cannot lower the head of the bat when you attempt to bunt. When you do that, the ball is going to go straight up in the air.
Perfect. Duffy's got to make a play, and he just got him at first, and Hanser is injured.
Well, he was certainly sniffing out a base hit, and he's grabbing his elbow. We'll take another look at it. First thing you think about is a leg injury. Here he goes. He's thinking he can beat this out. And it's very close. And then all of a sudden, it looked like he was going to give the safe sign. And it was on the safe sign that something let go in his shoulder.
So he's back on his feet.
Yep, the safe sign got him.
So a 5-3. Check that, a 5-4 sacrifice. Second and third, and I would imagine he's done for the day.
Oh, you can take that to the bank. We'll just have to see if we get some kind of a report. We will certainly let you know. It just didn't look good, but.
And on the bunt, it was perfect because Prado was maybe 50 feet from home plate when he made contact. So he had to push that ball toward third base. Here's one more look.
Well, it was a great bunt. And right there giving the safe sign, and all of a sudden, yikes.
Infield in against Gonzalez. Driven out toward right center. It'll score 2. And Romey's going to try for 3. A triple.
And that is called execution. You get the base runners to second and third with a perfect bunt. And then you take one of these cutters and slice it into right center field. No chance at all for Melendez. Bradley has 0 chance. And then Romey's off to the races. He drives in his third and fourth run batted in of the year. Romey runs it into a triple.
Third career 3-base hit. And second this season. So they've got the lead.
Ryan Sweeney to the mound to have a talk. And the infield will be forced to play in. Andrew's a great man to have up in this situation because he's not going to overswing and makes contact.
He has always hit for a high average with runners in scoring position. He's not real pleased with Shane Livensparger at the moment. One and one on Benintendi.
Castillo came over in the deal that sent Whit Merrifield to Toronto. That was last year, and early in his career, he was a starting pitcher in the Blue Jays organization. These days, mostly out of the pen. Steady diet of straight changes.
That number right there, it's a small sample, but it's representative of Benintendi. Well over 300 lifetime. 325 with runners in scoring position, but that makes sense because, as you mentioned, of his really good approach situationally.
You're putting the bat on the ball, and usually when you do that, good things happen.
Down the left field line, Olivares is over. Romy ready to tag. Catch is made, but it will score a run.
He is out. The run does score. The ball fell away, but it was on the transfer. And Phil Cuzzy was out there to have a look. We'll take a look again. Okay, there's the catch. It is caught. As he goes to transfer, the ball drops away.
Just thinking of the scenario where a left fielder makes that play in the 8th inning and his manager challenges the catch call because he doesn't want the run to score. Berger pops it up. Massey with the shades on. Big 3-run 5th. It's now 4-2 White Sox.
Speed action, and it is Lance Lynn who has been rewarded with the lead. 5 innings, just 4 hits, couple of earned runs on 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. And now he'd love a shutdown inning here.
So Tim now at short, Romy at second with Alberto leaving due to an apparent left shoulder injury. Swinging strike on Melendez. Caught by Sheets. Another hard hit out. 108 off the bat. 6th inning brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. 1 away.
One of the reasons why you play off the line. If a left-hander takes it right down the line and it's not a game-winning situation like in the 8th or 9th, then you play the line. Other than that, play off the line, you'll catch many more baseballs that way.
Olivares a single and scored on the Massey homer in the 2nd. It's Keenan Middleton up in the White Sox bullpen. Royals pen still quiet. The other thing, Stoney, that in an opening spot, if you're Matt Quatrero, the score matters too. How many resources do you use today if you're trailing? That is a fair ball. Olivares either thought it hit him or he thought it was going to go foul, and he's out. That's always a bad look. Happened the other day to Yordan Alvarez.
Yes, it's a very bad look, and the call by Phil Cuzzy. That one clearly in the field of play. I'm not sure what Olivares was looking at, but whatever it was, he probably should have left the umpiring to Phil.
So Massey with 2 down. One thing that's a real thing, there's no better way to say it. And the Royals think they can win this game, but you're managing not just today, but for tomorrow and for the rest of the week. You do have to conserve your resources sometimes, and you know Matt Quatrero is thinking about, do I want to use 4 more relievers today, or do I want to get as much as I can out of Max Castillo? That's foul.
I think it's pretty much ride that horse until you can't ride him any longer, because you certainly don't want to decimate your bullpen. That's one of the reasons behind that runner at second base. You know, I know a lot of people don't like it, but the reality is that you can ruin your pitching staff in just one day and be affected for another 2 or 3 days.
And look, if you're going to ruin your pitching staff, you'd rather do it in a win.
Yes, that's always preferable. This is the second 10-day road trip in a row for the Royals. So they will gladly go home to face Detroit and Washington.
This will not be considered that hard hit out, but it was 94 off the bat of Massey. Lance starting to cruise.
The bat of Luis Robert. Sox losing 2-0 at this point. Luis takes the ball up and out to right field. Didn't make it by much, but it made it by enough. 384 feet. And to put the Sox on the board.
Castillo still working. Going into action today, the following batters in the AL ahead of Luis in the home run department. Adolis Garcia with 14. Rafael Devers and Aaron Judge each with 13.
Look at the runs batted in for Garcia.
Yeah, it's insane. MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Guaranteed Rate Field. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. That is one of my favorite activities. Offer redeeming. You like to redeem offers?
Every day, if I get a chance.
We're always looking for a little offer redemption. Moncada yanks it foul to right. Adolis Garcia into action today has knocked in 49 in just 44 games. That's quite a pace. And Olivares has it.
Tomorrow it's a brand new series against the Guardians. We just had one of those. Don't miss Chuck and Ozzy before the game with White Sox pregame live. That's tomorrow at 4:30 on NBC Sports Chicago.
Here's Grandal with 2 outs. The Sox telling us Hanser Alberto is day-to-day with left shoulder soreness.
Well, that's certainly a whole lot better than it could have been, because it looked real bad when he went down to one knee.
Yaz came in hitting in 5 straight. And that ball ends up about 20 rows back after banging off the mask of the catcher. Probably got some blue paint on it. So it's a 1-2-3-6 for Max Castillo. Sox lead 4-2, going for the sweep. By points bet, the opening line and current, Sox have a 4-2 lead.
And if you need $100, you can bet 1,000 that the Sox win. You can pick up 100 if he does. So we do have a new pitcher in the ball game, and it is Keenan Middleton. He's done a terrific job this year. Out for the 16th time. His ERA a touch over 2. When you're 20-5, 20 strikeouts, 5 walks in just over 13 innings, you're getting it done, and that's what he's going to get it done with. Changeup, slider, 4-seamer, almost equally distributed, but heavy on the change.
Lance Lynn, 6 innings, 2 runs.
I thought Lance had a very good day today. Only 4 hits in 6 innings with a couple of walks.
The 7th inning brought to you by IDOT roadway safety. It's not a game.
Lance has always done well against these Royals. He was 8-4 coming into this, and he's in line to pick up his 9th. The Sox can make it hold up.
Continues a really good stretch here for the starters, including today. That's 10 games, ERA of about 2.5. The other part, the whip is 1, and those things go hand in hand.
Well, another factor too, Len, is they're almost without exception, they're taking the game through the 6th inning. So that's 18 outs. And when you go with 18 outs, you only leave 9 on the board, and you got a whole lot of guys out there to get those 9.
Yeah, the bullpen's been fairly rested as a result.
Today's game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Marquette Bank is Chicagoland's trusted neighborhood bank and home lender. Check out Marquette Bank at emarquettebank.com. Marquette Bank, love where you bank.
I'm really good at making a balloon. It's in the shape of a balloon.
As opposed to an
balloon
animal balloon.
Yeah. You want the tried and true, just blow it up like a balloon. I'm your guy.
Well, I'd just like to hear you after the helium as opposed to watching you fold the balloon.
Here's the pitch. Well, he walked Garcia, now facing Bradley.
Bradley's been up twice. Twice he's hit rockets, and once at Frazier in right, the other time at Robert in center.
Slider right in there. Aaron Bummer loosening. Fair-sized lead by Garcia. 1-2 now. And you mentioned he's got 3 pitches and will throw any pitch in any count. Off Middleton. Tim will step on second. Just in time. He got Garcia on the force play. Where did that ball hit Middleton? Boy, it bounced straight up in the air. Looks like Keenan's all right, but they will come out and check on him.
Well, he was all right until he got flipped to baseball and got hit again. It looked like it got part of his head on the way through. Heads up play by Tim Anderson.
Wow.
Yeah, it got a little piece of him, and Tim gets there just an eyelash ahead of Garcia. He was thinking about tagging him, that said, wait a second, there's a force out here.
So he'll take a warm-up toss or two.
Sometimes pitchers will tell you that if you do get hit, even if it's a glancing blow, you have a tendency to experiencing some dizziness. And so that's one of the reasons why they wanted him to take some throws, check his equilibrium, and find out if he's okay. We'll watch it again. Yeah, I think Keenan considers himself very lucky right about now.
His first 2 warm-up tosses were really high, and his third one right down the middle. And that's when he said, yep, I'm good. Duffy didn't mean to. Middleton will glove it and flip to first. Boy, that was an awkward land there, as it looked like his right foot kind of dug into the grass, but made the play.
Here's an excuse me swing. Boy, pitchers love that. Hitters hate it. And he's able to get a very easy second out.
So here's Witt with a man at second. Fastball strike. Sox turn this game around with 3 big ones in the 5th. Rubber game in D.C. Nationals lead the Tigers 6-4 in the 7th. We'll see a lot of the Detroit Tigers here the next couple of weeks. Riley Green putting together a nice month of May.
He's a very talented young center fielder. Should have had another year of experience. Should have made it up at the start of last season, but broke his foot.
On the ground to Moncada. Nice work by Keenan Middleton after that leadoff walk. We'll keep it here on a Sunday for God Bless America. Sox lead in the 7th.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Major League ballparks across America each Sunday, the singing of God Bless America is performed in support of our country and our men and women stationed overseas. Please welcome Gerald Chaney for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Bottom 7. Clint Frazier takes a strike. Max Castillo's gone 4 in relief of Carlos Hernandez. Melendez can't make the play. Learn from the pros this summer at a White Sox summer camp presented by Wintrust, starting at $159. Kids age 5 to 12 can register for a camp at any of our 45 locations throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, visit whitesox.com/play. Swing and a miss on a good changeup for strike 3.
Saw the late movement on that one. It almost had a splitter effect to it. You can see it's a 3-finger change, not a circle change. However, he turns it over, it dives down and in, and no contact.
Gavin Sheets. Line to right, foul by a few feet.
Catch up on everything in Chicago sports with NBC Chicago Sports Sunday. A look at the Bulls off season after losing their lottery pick, the Bears rebuild, and more. That's tonight after the NBC Chicago News at 10.
Reading up on baseball history, way back when pitchers would sometimes drag their back foot across the dirt to help with their changeup.
Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins, that was his trick.
Massey will pick it up. Here's Tim Anderson. Did not start this game, but came in when Hanser Alberto left due to injury. Mentioned Cleveland playing a doubleheader in New York. It's a split doubleheader. Game 2 will be tonight, so the Guardians probably won't return home until the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, the first game was in the 12:30 range. The second game can't start before 7:10 because of that split doubleheader. That means that Cleveland will start that. Who knows? Let's call it the average. Call it 2 hours and 45 minutes. You're getting home awfully late.
Paris needs some glove work. You see the up-to-date standings. Twins still the only team over 500 with a long way to go.
They've got to try to dodge Ohtani tonight. Never an enviable task.
Mets lead game 1 over Cleveland 5-4. They're in the bottom of the 8th.
Mets were on top 3-0 in that one, so the Guardians have fought their way back into it.
You know, Clase's been vulnerable of late. He pitched well here in their lone win, but
he's not missing many bats like he did in the past. There's some velocity issues.
Tim with a base hit. Bradley got a terrible jump. I don't know if he saw the ball, so he got over there late, but Olivares beat him to it, and Tim held to a single.
He got one of those cutters and took it into left center field. For whatever reason, Bradley just didn't see the ball.
Romy down in the 9 spot with the infield hit, a stolen base, and the go-ahead 2-run triple. I think when an offense is really humming, obviously your top and middle guys, you want consistency. And then you need spurts, right? You need an 8-hitter to have a 3-for-4 one day, and then maybe the next day it's the 9-hitter. Really can lengthen your lineup. And remember, Jake Berger has hit down near the bottom of the order. He's batting second today.
And we've seen it for whatever reason. This is just an oddity. The part of the lineup that has hurt the Sox this year has been 7, 8, and 9.
That is through that hole, and Tim will stop at second.
A squibber to the other side, the 4th time that Romy has had a 3-hit game.
Pitching coach visit, Brian Sweeney.
Yeah, for the moment he's going out there to say, look, nobody coming in, so get this guy out. It would be a good plan. Castillo has really been a bullpen saver here this afternoon. He came on in the 3rd inning. He's kept the game in reach to this point. He is a pitcher of record on the downside. Lance Lynn, the pitcher of record on the plus side.
Benintendi with a sac fly on a ball that was caught in foul territory in the 5th. And his hitting streak is on the line. Right now it's 7 games. All this happening after 2 were out. Singles by Anderson and Gonzalez. And a base hit feathered into center. Tim will score. It's an 8-game hitting streak for Benintendi. And you love the tack on runs late.
That's a huge insurance run. And it's another change. This time Andrew kept his head down. He didn't pull off the baseball. He caught it off the end of the bat. That's going to be it for Castillo. And the Sox get a much needed insurance run.
And they're not done yet. Taylor Clark coming on when we come back.
First pitch slider, and that was a perfect pitch.
2 on, 2 out. And now 2 strikes on Berger.
Taylor Clark comes on as our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. He's on for the 19th time with an ERA of .380. A lot of strikeouts, 29 of them in 21 1/3 with only 8 walks.
He set a major league record, recorded at least 1 strikeout in each of his first 26 career relief appearances. High and deep, and it is Melendez to make the grab. They add on. It's 5-2 after 7.
Check out the T-Mobile coverage cam, and it's a day of Lance Lynn, and it was a good day. He started off red hot, painting the corners, threw some very good cutter slider hybrids. Gave up just the 1 home run, 2 runs overall, and 19 swings and misses. That is a lot. 9 of them on the 4-seamer, and the starters recently have been very good. Last 6 games. ERA a touch over 2, and the rest of the numbers are spectacular. Aaron Bummer comes on for the 20th time.
Ball 1 on Prado. Hazley now in right for Frazier. Nick Prado is a very vociferous gum chewer, so much so that his helmet moves just ever so slightly. I don't know why I think it's cool. Watch the bill of his cap just a little bit. Come on, Nick. Strong jaw. There, see it? See it pop up?
Yeah,
just a little bit.
That is some heavy duty gum.
Right to Tim. Country music fans, join us at the ballpark Friday, June 9th for Country Music Night, presented by Coke Zero Sugar. Be sure to stay after the game. Post-game fireworks show. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/promos. Clint Hurdle, always famous for his gum chewing, former big league manager, and I once asked him, I think he started with 3 or 4 pieces of gum and would add 1 per inning. Makes my jaw hurt just thinking about it, but
extra innings, you look like a chipmunk.
strikeout rocketed into the Royals dugout. Shadow's not a factor. Beautiful day. A lot of sunshine. And a windy day, helping definitely those 2 home runs. Getting little hints of summer here in mid to late May. You know, knock on wood, Stoney, but we've been pretty fortunate weather-wise. Had that makeup doubleheader against the Phillies, but with this new schedule, knock on wood again, by far here in the Midwest, we've been pretty fortunate to get all these games in.
No games to be made up at this point. This is game number 48.
Perez strikes out, 2 down.
After a tough battle, that slider will end the at bat. It never was a strike, but Salvi never really needs a strike. He swings at everything. He's only walked 7 times all year.
Melendez recently talked about a little tweak he made. He was doing a drill on high fastballs. He was trying to stand more upright, and it wasn't working. So he went the opposite way and kind of started to lean in toward home plate a little bit, and it worked.
I've seen in the history of the game a lot of hitters who were stand-up hitters having all kinds of problems with the high heat. What they did was get into a severe crouch and hit from there.
Caught the inside edge. Bummer with a 1-2-3 8th inning. Couple of strikeouts as Melendez and Livensparger have a conversation. You be the umpire at home.
White Sox checking an official White Sox debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. That's wintrust.com/Sox. And we got a new Royals pitcher in the ball game. It is the tall lefty Amir Garrett, who's on for the 20th time. His ERA a touch over 3.5.
Garrett just came off the family medical emergency list yesterday. And will face Robert, Moncada, and Grandal. Waiting to see if somebody will be up in the White Sox bullpen. I'm guessing Kendall Graveman will not be available today. Looks like Joe Kelly will be the 9th inning pitcher. Robert went around.
Joe's done just about everything in this game. Starter, closer.
And now an author.
And now an author.
He's got a book out. Yeah. Phillies beat the Cubs 2-1. The only run for the Cubs was a Christopher Morel 9th inning home run. And you see the mix for a hard throwing lefty. More sinkers than four seam. Morel has 8 home runs in 11 games this season.
Pretty miraculous when you think about it.
Craig Kimbrell saved that game for the Phillies. Orioles and Jays are tied at 2 in the 9th. Baltimore going for the sweep. Milwaukee trying to avoid a sweep. 6-4 lead in the 9th at Tampa Bay.
That one looked like it got a piece of Shane Livensparger. We'll take another look. It's a slider in the dirt. It's by Perez and catches him right in the middle of that chest protector.
So a full count on Robert. Mets did beat Cleveland 5-4. So they'll go for the doubleheader and series sweep later tonight. Smoke foul. Good effort down there. That ball came in hot on the deflection.
The second game of the twin bill, Bieber is going to go, so we will not see him in Cleveland. Watch it again. Tough to play that ball correctly, even if you're down on one knee. Give him another chance. You get a redeemer in that game, the ball guy game.
Like Elvis tried to pick that ground ball with his hat.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well for him.
And he walked him.
Tried to quick pitch him, and it didn't quite work out.
Chuck and Ozzie have post-game live presented by Subaru. Let's get a preview. Yep, it would be a first here in 23 if they can get it. Okada hitting from the right side. And that White Sox walk presented by Feldco. I wasn't looking at the pitch clock. Did Garrett realize the pitch timer was nearing 0 and just let it fly?
I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah. That's the one little hole in the rules I do wonder about moving forward, is with nobody on base would a pitcher receive a disengagement. So far that's not happening. The batter gets one. What we're talking about. Yeah, he was down to just a couple seconds.
Yeah, I think he could see it and then just said, okay, I gotta let it go.
Okada pummels one deep to left, and it's on the ground. Good effort there by Olivares. It'll be a long single for Moncada with Robert now at third.
This is a big effort. Olivares has it in the entire glove, has it again seemingly, and still can't corral it. And Yuan probably should be standing at second base.
Infield in. The pitch. It's a little low. Well, 2-1. Sox are 8-7 against the division. We're right in the middle of a big run here against the AL Central. 2-2. Got a big 7-game trip coming up. 3 at Cleveland, 4 in Detroit. Knocked down by Perez. 3-2 on Grandal. They added 1 in the 7th. Would love to add a few more here in the 8th. Right now it would be a safe chance for Kelly in the 9th. Called strike 3 on a slider.
I think this probably was just off the outside corner, but it's called by Livensparger. That one had the whole plate.
So mound visit and our chance to remind you, Sox fans, join us for Miller Lite Baseball and Brews starting at only $19. This offer includes 1 ticket and 2 beers to new and expanded seating locations across the ballpark. Must be 21 and over with a valid ID. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews. Hazley came on for defense in right and will now bat against Garrett with the infield still in. And a bunt, and it's foul as Duffy decided to jump on it before it maybe rolled back fair.
Well, it had a chance to, and Garrett, and again a lesson for you young players out there that happen to be pitchers, as soon as you see it go foul, you've got to touch the baseball. No reason to let this one roll, because especially on this field, occasionally balls will come back into the field of play and then it's a base hit.
That was a safety squeeze as Robert actually stayed at third. So now 0-2. Sinker is wide. Kelly has been joined by Santos in the bullpen.
Yeah, I think you get a run here or more and it's Santos. If not, it's Joe.
Here comes Robert, but they're going to try to turn 2, and they do. Good decision. We go to the 9th. It's 5-2. Sox looking for a 5-1 week and a potential 6-3 homestand.
And with that in mind, Joe Kelly comes on. He's had 1 save opportunity. He's on for the 13th time. Lately, he's been unhittable. The control's been impeccable. 17 strikeouts and 1 walk and 12 in the 3rd.
Looking for his 7th major league save. That looked good, but deemed inside to Olivares. Joe signed as a free agent prior to last year. Painted that low outside corner. Couple of World Series rings. Red Sox 18, Dodgers 2020. And he strikes out Olivares.
It's every outing this year with at least one strikeout for Joe Kelly. And he gets it right off the bat. Good rotation on that one. Nice stop behind the plate.
Massey supplying their 2 runs with the second inning home run. That's registering as a slider, but I think that's Joe's curve. Picked up by Sheets. Kelly at the bag. 2 down.
Nice play by Gavin as he does the 360 spin. Shows the ball to the pitcher, which is essential. You want to show him the baseball before you toss it underhand. They did it perfectly.
Over 23,000 here today, and they're on their feet. 2 outs, 9th inning.
That is one hard slider at 92. That one, I think, got a piece of Shane Livensparger again. Hasn't been the easiest of days for Shane behind the plate. Yep, got the mask.
Joe saying, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you, so look, I'll throw one of these and see if you can stop it.
Got him looking. Sox win, and they sweep away the Kansas City Royals.
What a job once again. The ball club coming back in this one, and then, as has happened in this run, Lance Lynn took him through 6. The 18 outs we were talking about, the bullpen was flawless once again. As the starters have emerged, the bullpen has come right along with them, and the team right now is playing good, solid baseball.
Well, good games make for good broadcasts. Fun weekend. I will see you in Cleveland. I'll be back on the other side, but let's keep it going.
See you on the plane first.
You
Get your
got
rest.
So for Stoney and our great crew, Len Casper with your final 5-2 White Sox. Time for our post-game show with Chuck and Ozzie.